When done properly, the internet, screens, and particularly social media can provide 5 essential elements of adolescent well-being: a sense of control over one's environment, individuation, self-expression, a connection to others, and acceptance. And then there is the abyss. Welcome to App-Propriate, a podcast designed to give you a little taste into the positives and negatives of the most popular social media apps, so that you and your most importants can make more informed, healthy, and safer choices when it comes to interacting through your screens. I'm your host, Joe Langford. Note that I said safer, not safe. Interacting through screens with other humans contains a degree of natural risk, just like real life. And I believe that education leads to empowerment, and I hope this information helps add a degree of safety, social responsibility, and good digital citizenship to your social networking and the conversations you have about it with your family. In September 1998, the Google.com domain name was registered, and a new search engine joined the internet. In light of that, the next few episodes of App-Propriate will be a Google-themed mini-series dedicated to Google's suite of apps, its past, future, its general impact on our larger culture, and its specific impact on our kids. This week's episode is about Google+. Google+ falls into the live streaming/connection-motivated app category. Google+ is obviously and officially the current social networking platform for Google, the world's largest and most popular search engine, and a kind of chameleon platform for connection and self-expression for and with groups and individuals. The plus in Google+ is the social networking aspect of the famous search engine. Google+ is intimately tied to all of Google's other services, including Gmail, YouTube, the topic of a couple of other episodes, Google Play, Google Docs, and of course, the famed search engine itself. Almost a decade old itself, Google+ is socially similar to Twitter in that there's a lot of participants whose information is constantly being updated. There are also targeted ads and tracking that's impossible to avoid because Google. Over Google's history, the company has launched over a dozen voice and text chat apps. Google+ has been Google's 4th attempt at building a social network, and Google has dedicated quite a bit of time and resources over the last several years into making Google+ an attractive platform for its expanding customer base. Google+ has had almost 400 million accounts created, though a good percentage of them have been created only in order to access and use other apps and aspects of the Google universe, such as Photos, Hangouts, and YouTube. Creating a Google+ account is necessary to use some apps and to make using others easier, but not all account holders' main motivation. For comparison's sake, having a Facebook account makes it easier to sign into Spotify and actually quite a few other services, but that's not why most kids have Facebook accounts. Despite some problems and popularity, Google has held on to Google+ for longer than was probably necessary, but then in 2018, a data breach happened. It wasn't a Cambridge Analytica level event, but Google discovered a glitch in its system that had allowed third-party apps to access some of the private information of almost 500,000 people. It repaired the breach pretty immediately, though almost as immediately initiated a countdown sequence for its termination. Google+ will be active and available for most users until sometime in 2020, giving users time to migrate their data off the network and giving Google time to develop and release a new suite of apps and platforms to replace and replicate Google+ in a theoretically safer and more attractive way. Some of these new forms and platforms are the topics of the rest of this month's episodes. The social networking aspects of Google+ include giving people the ability to share ideas and news, both real and fake, post photos and videos, keep in touch, plan get-togethers and game, do homework and business, support social causes and their communities, review books, recommend restaurants, contact old friends, make new ones, stay in touch with grandma, and get dates. It also involves getting and giving validation and emotional support, lots of both formal and informal education and learning, sharing content, exploring personal and professional interests, and videos of cute baby animals. In fact, there's very little of human life that doesn't get expressed in a social network site like this, which highlights and supports the daily activities and appetites of millions of users every single day. Google Plus has been largely safe for teens, much like the larger world it attempts to virtually replicate, and is gaining more and more popularity with kids because they're doing an excellent job of breeding Facebook features with Skype in virtual gatherings called Google Hangouts, the format's most popular feature, which we will be covering in this Google-themed mini-series over the next few podcasts. Schools are leaning into this as well, and many kids are using Google Plus to do homework and study in virtual groups. Most people's first email address is Google, including approximately half of the active email addresses in America, and even small children have Gmail addresses. It's the easiest way to gain access not only to Google Plus, but all aspects of the internet. All you need to get started with Google Plus is a Gmail address. You'll then be asked to answer a few simple questions like your real name, picking a username, a password, a profile picture, and your birthday. To get an account, users must be at least 13 years old, though there are plenty of younger kids on there as well. Once you have an account, the first time you visit Google Plus, you'll be asked several questions that are designed to make it easier for friends, family, and others to connect with you, such as your school or your business name, where you live. Answering these things is optional. In fact, users have a fair amount of control over who has access to their Google Plus profile. It can be only you, anyone on the internet, a handful of specifically chosen people, or a curated group of people, which Google calls your circles, or extended circles, which includes circles of people in your circles. Then, users can share posts and receive comments, etc., with the circles they're connected with. These social circles help users connect with others and helps them control who sees what they post. Not only can you customize your circles in terms of contacts and content, but also what information you share can be made different circle to circle. Users can create circles based on connection and then choose which content they want to share with those circles. The cousins don't necessarily need to see the same content you share with the study group. The personal information you share with your crew of BFFs may be different than what your basketball teammates get access to, etc. All those people may be part of our lives, but not necessarily part of our lives in the same way. And for everyone, but young people in particular, I believe that being your genuine self in all interactions, though being discriminate between how and what you share in those interactions, is a great social skill, both online and in real life. Google Plus will create default circles for you, friends, family, acquaintances, and following. Those people that you may want to follow but that don't necessarily fit into your other circles. You can create and customize as many circles as you'd like. Circles can overlap, and you can have someone in your circles without necessarily having to be in theirs. The reason people don't have to give consent for you to put them in one of your circles is because when someone's in your circle, it means that you're sharing your information with them, but doesn't mean that they're sharing their information with you. Suggestions for people you might want to add to your circles will show up in your stream. The stream is Google's version of a traditional social media feed, like a Facebook page, the heart of Google+, and a streaming dashboard for content, including text, photos, videos, web links, your location, all of that stuff. People will be notified if they've been added to one of your circles, and they can leave that circle or choose to add you to one of theirs, but again, that is up to them. Of course, users can share posts with single or multiple circles or set them to public. Google will give a warning that in doing so, you'll be allowing people who aren't in your circles to see and comment on your posts. And it's also worth noting that content shared with specific circles can be reshared if someone in that circle shares it in their circles, even if you aren't in that circle. So if someone shares your content, it, as well as your profile, can be seen by more people than was necessarily intended, and content you shared with that circle can remain visible in that circle even if you delete it or leave. The internet is forever. Since Google is so intimately intertwined and ingrained in our culture, it's easy to find friends who already have some kind of connection to Google, which means that the privacy settings become super important. It's always best to be cautious when sharing information across a public network, and there are some privacy concerns associated with Google+, though generally they seem to do due diligence regarding safety features for tweens, and have a number of nice security and privacy settings to help protect underage users. For example, generally, full name and gender are visible to the general public. The default settings for minors are more conservative than for adult users, and gender and contact information in teen profiles is kept private. By default, teen profiles can't be found in search results either. They don't necessarily display the names of people under 18, and they don't allow minors to navigate directly to pages or videos that are deemed 18 and older. For adults, the default setting is that people who look at your profile can see the profile in your circles as well as who has you in theirs, but users still have the option to hide both. For minors, the default setting is that information around the people in their circles and who has added them is not available publicly. I advocate setting profile sharing for contact information such as school, place of employment, relationship status, etc., is best kept only within the necessary circles. Google has an excellent parents guide online. You can Google it. And as it continues to evolve, it will assuredly feature additional privacy and security options. The content itself is generally user-driven and dependent on behavior. What a particular user says or posts, how they act, can make an experience positive or negative, productive or problematic, safe or unsafe. And when I say the users, I mean both the individuals themselves and the collective. Regardless of what site we're on or how we're accessing it, safety in social media is truly a social contract, a shared responsibility among users. Like most other responsible social networking services, it's also a relationship between individual users and the service itself. In terms of specific posts can be edited or locked, preventing them from being commented on or shared by other people. Posts can also be deleted, but of course there's always the risk that someone may have copied, forwarded, or reposted before you deleted it, which is why the internet is forever is one of the sentences I say with young people more than most any other sentence in any given week. As I said, Google provides some decent safety and privacy features for underagers, such as only allowing people in your circle to comment on your posts, and keeping certain profile information private. By default, teens' physical location is never attached to their posts. But it is up to each individual user to use the privacy features. And as parents, our involvement can be a big factor in helping our offspring follow the basic rules of civil behavior and Google's policies. If another user violates the community standards or is being gross and inappropriate, it's easy to report them. Though Google Plus is being retired, it will be replaced with other platforms and features, which again are the topics of the rest of this month's episodes. And with Google Plus, as with any social networking platform, it helps if we as parents educate ourselves about the safety and privacy tools available. If we ask our children informed questions about how they're using their sites and apps. If we discuss privacy settings and profile philosophies and keep the parent-kid lines of communication open. Following your child is a good idea regardless of platform. But with Google Plus specifically, using circles can give you a sweet window and a really lovely perspective into your children's social lives. Next week's episode will focus on Google Hangouts, Google's currently primary messaging app, which allows users to message friends and make video and voice calls to other Google users. Thank you for listening. I'm Joe Langford. I'm a therapist, a sex and tech educator, and a dad, and I specialize in helping families navigate that intersection of adolescence, sexuality, technology, and behavior. More information about me and my work to promote healthy, positive, and safer sexual and social behavior, both online and off, can be found at my website, beheroes.net.
The advice presented in this podcast is a form of education and is intended to provide general information about common though broad topics that impact underage people. Specific circumstances and facts may make said advice unsuitable and/or other actions necessary for individuals. This podcast is meant to be an adjunct, not a replacement, for IRL experience, professional advice, and good old-fashioned common sense. In addition, much of the information included here can and most likely will change with time, culture, and the rapid development of technology. BeHeroes.net does not seek nor accept any monetary gain or financial support from any social media platform mentioned. Beheroes.net is committed to providing quality consulting, coaching, product, speaker, and contracted therapeutic services, advocacy, and resources to clients, visitors, customers, colleagues, and fans. Appropriate is produced by Beheroes.net.